on FM WURD Philadelphia, celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the Word Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Happy Wednesday to you, or as a lot like to say, happy hump day to you. Nick and I are always happy to have you join us. As you well know, we are so grateful just to be able to spend some time with you. And so, family, I want to get started a little quickly today. But before I do, I like to take care of my housekeeping. We're still celebrating Virgo season. So, happy birthday to you if today is your birthday. And also to Brother Nasir, I want to know what you did to celebrate. I want to know. I want to know it all. But in any event, if today is your day, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. So, family, it's time to check in really quickly, really, really quickly. If you're visiting with us by way of socials, send us a comment to let us know that you're out there and you're ready to join the conversation. Or you can call us, as you well know, at 215-634-8065. Or you can call us toll free at 1-866 361-0900 if you want to share with us verbally. We love the love anyway you share it with us. And to our listening family members, hey, you are always, always greatly appreciated as well. And family, all of the extra love and hugs that I can muster goes to you if your light is shining just a little dimly today, especially those of our family members who are navigating a loss. On behalf of your tribe and your village, I just want you to know that you are not alone. You hear me? You are not alone. So, as I was saying today, we're going to do something a little different. I want to introduce to you a gentleman who is a friend of mine. I like to pick with him often. Oftentimes I do. But he is an entertainment guru. That's what I'm going to call him. I'm not going to say that to him, but I'm going to say that to you. He's an entertainment guru. His name is Brandon Pankey, and he is the CEO of Artist Presented Experiences, otherwise known as Apex, a new AVOD streaming network focused on creating and distributing scripted, unscripted, and licensed content exclusively by and for artists. I can't wait to hear all about that. He also serves as Vice President of Business Development and Operations for Live Nation Urban. And he is going to tell us just a few things. They talk with us about a little bit of a lot of things. How about that? So, family, without further ado, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Brandon Pankey. Well, hello there, so.
How are you?
I will not complain. You hear me? I won't
I
do
know
any
that's
such
right.
thing.
No, that's right. Well, I'm gonna complain. I can't
Oh, no,
wait
no.
till Aquarius season. All these Virgos, too many,
Oh my goodness.
too
Let me
many.
tell you something. You better be glad. Okay. You're lucky that my mother is a Virgo. My mother is a Virgo. I mean, no, she's not. That was a
She's an
lie.
Aquarius. She an
She's an
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Right. That's right. I knew you messed up. I knew you messed up. That's what Virgos do. They mess
I'm
up the
so
energy.
mad that I said that. I'm so mad, Mom. You know I love you. It was all Brandon's fault. It was all
Always,
Brandon's fault.
always.
So,
Thank you for having
Brandon,
me here, Carol. I appreciate it.
I'm saying, just happy that you came. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Just happy. Listen, I know that you do so much. So, what I want to do, because I know we only have you for a short period of time today, I want you to tell us all about Apex. Tell us
Yeah.
what it means. Well, let's start there because I have a ton of questions, but we're going to get in as many as we can while we have you.
Yeah. No, for sure. So to get there, we have to get to where I started. So I've been in the entertainment industry, music industry for close to 20 years at this point. And in my role at Live Nation, so let me backtrack. Started in business management with another, I think you said guru earlier, but real guru Sean G, who manager for the Roots and for Jill Scott,
Right.
also the president of Live Nation Urban. So started in business management, with him as his assistant. Worked my way up, worked with the Roots, worked with Jill Scott, worked with a lot on the touring side. Lil
Mhm.
Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, and a host of others. And then went over and transitioned over to Live Nation. Live Nation, for those that don't know, probably every concert that you've gone to, especially in the past 10 to 20 years, has been promoted by Live Nation. They're the global
Mm.
leader in live entertainment. And so started on the artist management side there, and then transitioned over to Live Nation Urban in 2017 to run business development and operations. We develop, produce festivals all over North
Mhm.
America. The Roots Picnic in Philadelphia, Kirk Franklin's festival in Dallas, Exodus Fest. One Music Festival is a festival in Atlanta. Her has a festival in the Bay Area called Lights On Fest. Lil Wayne has a festival in New Orleans called Louisiana Fest. Broccoli City Festival in Washington, D.C. And I'm missing a couple, I think. But
Mm.
we develop and produce those festivals. These festivals that range from 20 to 50,000 people a day.
Oh
But in my
Lord.
yeah, yeah. I should have, my skin, anyway. So in that time, on the business management side, artist side, the promoter side, artists such as the amazing, incredible, dynamic Carol Riddick, they are beyond just being dynamic on stage or being dynamic in the studio. They can act, they can produce, they have ideas, and there just aren't a lot of outlets or any outlets really that
Right.
allow artists, particularly of a certain range, right? If you're Beyonce, if you're Lady Gaga, yes, Netflix is going to give you a deal. Hulu is
Mhm.
going to give you a deal. But if you are an emerging artist, if you're an artist who isn't quite at that Beyonce or Gaga level, there was no space to do that. And so that was really the birth of Apex, Artist Presented Experiences, just giving artists the opportunity. If you want to do a scripted show, if you want to do a documentary, if you want to just show up and talk, this is the network for you. And this is a real network. You can download it now on your Apple or Android devices. And in about a
Mm.
month or so, we'll be on Roku and Amazon Fire and smart TVs and all of that. So I'm super excited about where this is going. We just launched in February, Black History Month, of course.
Of course.
And I'm super excited about where we're going with this.
So let me ask you, how do you determine what artists do you feature the artist, or how do you determine which artists are featured
It depends.
by way of Apex?
Yeah, it depends, right? I mean, a lot of it's relationships. One of the first shows we had, Issa Rae has a record label called Radio.
Mhm.
So we partnered with Radio and did an artist interview series. They selected the artist for it. For me, it was a great partnership to sort of kick off the network. But then there are other times where, it might be relationships that I have here in Philly. It might be relationships that I have elsewhere with artists. Hey, I have a documentary, about my tour. There was an artist, his name is Dappa. But he actually performed on the Roots Picnic this year. And he was like,
Nice.
man, I have a documentary from a tour I did. I don't know where to put it. Bring it here. We have, I guess it's dynamic of how we select it, because it's, it could be through a production studio or a studio or a record label, or it could be artist direct or managers direct
Okay.
to have content. So it really varies. But we're
Okay.
taking it, and you don't have to be signed. That was the other key for me. I wanted to make sure that independent artists had a voice as well on the network.
Thank you for addressing that. I was going to ask that question. Before we move further, family, don't you think that I have forgotten you? Because I have not. What I like to do, because our family members check in, they check in all the time, and I want them to know that we know that they're there. So, to that, I want to just let you know that Cheryl Brown is checking in. Hey there, beautiful. She's sharing good evening, Carol, sharing much love with everyone. Cheryl, we're sending that love right back to you. You hear me? Sending that love right back to you. She shares, good evening, Brandon Pankey.
That's
Glad
it.
to have you join us.
Glad to be
Glad,
here,
glad, glad. And our brother Malcolm White, he shares that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy, and he sends a good evening to everybody. Always happy to have you join us. Family, don't forget you too can check in. You can do that by commenting on our socials, or you can also call us. We love the love any way you present it. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can also call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. We are talking with Brandon Pankey in this hour. Well, actually, not even this hour. He is so important, family, that he can't stay with us for the whole hour. Okay.
It's
Okay.
not about important.
But I love that he is granting us just a moment of his time. I have to pick with you. You know
I
that
got
I do.
I got a kid that needs homework done. I got to get my life together. But Carol told me to be here, so I will be here a week late. But I will be here on time, the right time.
That's right. We're just happy to have you here. So now I want to go back to Apex for a moment. From
Mhm.
where did the idea, like you said, okay, one day you said, look, there isn't a place. There needs to be a place that exists. This was your brainchild.
Yeah, I'll tell you where the idea came from. The idea came in 2013,
It
actually.
was me, right? I planted the seed.
I'm not going to lie. So, Carol, true story. And I can't make this kind of stuff up. You're talking about Black history in the making. So I'm walking down the street. I see a bunch of, I think it was Al Sharpton, right? And so you had
Okay.
said, so stop. And then from there, right, I think Black history moved, elevated. And so that's where the idea stemmed from. Now, in an
Is
alternate
it?
universe, the idea might have come from
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
I was reading an article in Forbes. Now, the Al Sharpton story is the real story, but we're just going to give an alternate. I'm just making this up now. Now
Right,
I'm
right,
making,
right. Right.
so I was reading a Forbes article, and it was at the time the CEO of WWE wrestling, Vince McMahon, was on the cover of Forbes, and he had just launched his OTT platform. For those that OTT is over the top. That's like Netflix, Hulu, etc. But he had just launched his wrestling network, and that was for $9.99 a month. And in my mind, I'm like, well, if something as niche as wrestling can have a network, why haven't we done a streaming network for music, which is more universal, which is more loved? And that sort of planted the idea in my head, and it just took years. Just from the music industry sometimes moves slower than other industries, particularly in tech, and no one really got it. And I'm fortunate that I had a close friend of mine who got it, who had access to some capital. So in 2018 is when we really started getting it going. COVID slowed us down because we were going to launch in
Right.
2020. Slowed us down a bit, made me rethink the strategy, made it free. AVOD stands for Advertising Video on Demand versus subscription based, because we are averaging about $272 a month on subscriptions on streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, etc. So I wanted to make it free, and that's when we launched. But the idea has been in my head for years,
Wow.
executing.
Wow. I mean, I applaud you. I really do. I truly do because I know how hard you work, and we've worked together in several
Yes.
arenas. So I know how much you give and how much of your life you dedicate in all of those arenas. So I applaud you for staying the course on this. So when you were talking with us about Live Nation and you were talking
Yes.
with us about the different festivals, in what way are you involved? What exactly do you do?
So I mean, the title is business development and operations. So everything operations, really making sure from the moment, not even from the start, but just, do we have, ticket machines that can scan your tickets when you walk in? Do we have
Right.
concessions, that you can eat? Do we have stages so that
Right.
artists can perform? Are the mics working? Everything operations. That's my role, to make sure that the festival actually happens and happens as smooth as possible. We have security in place, so it's as safe as possible. Everything top to bottom from operations for festivals. I produce that, and
So
I
the
which
intricacies.
every
I mean, basically, because if we don't have the intricacies, we don't have a We don't have a festival. Quite
Carol, if you got to
honestly,
pee, I got to make sure we got porta potties.
there
I
you
got to
have
make
it.
sure we have things, and
The
so that's my role. Really, it's really making sure that, and this is months down the line. If we're announcing the Roots Picnic in Philadelphia in January, we've already started the planning the previous November
right,
of
right,
the
right.
previous year. And so that's my role for all of these festivals, just making sure that they operate as smooth as possible.
OMG.
Yeah.
To that point, I want to go back to our family who
Yes.
is checking in. Our family members are continuing to check in as they do. Nasir, brother Nasir, I don't know if you heard my greeting, but I wanted to know how you celebrated your birthday. But he's sending some love to everybody, peace and blessings. He is sending to everyone. Kevin Williams is saying hello. Hey, Kev. He's asking Brandon, what's the spelling of the company on the app?
The spelling is here's what I'm gonna do. Can I connect to the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you can. In the meantime, Shot Fixer is saying, "Hey, Carol." Well, hey, Shot Fixer. That's my cousin Shanae, by the way. She had to tell me who she was. But hey, Shot Fixer. Um, so Brandon is going to put the information in the chat for everybody, and he's going to say it aloud as well for those of our family members
Yes.
who are simply listening and are not able to view.
You can. Okay, it's making me do a bunch of verifications, but you can go to
That's okay.
www.watchapex.com, WATCHAPEX.com, and you'll find all information on the app,
Okay.
to get it, download
So
it.
that was just put in our chat for anybody who is interested. That is
Too many,
www.watchapex.com. That is WATCHAPEX.com. I love it. I love it. I love it.
too
So,
many W,
Brandon.
too many W's.
Are
3W.watchapex.com. I'm a Go ahead. Go ahead, girl. I'm sorry.
Why you playing with me?
He
Why
can't
you
cuss at
playing?
me in public. He
Why
can't
are
cuss at
you
me in public. Can't cuss at me in public.
He is picking with me, okay? He is picking with me, but that's all right. That's okay. That's what we do. That's what we do. So, Brandon is going to visit with us and
Yes.
share with us what's going on in the entertainment world, not just with Live Nation and Apex, but he's going to check in with us from time to time and keep us abreast of all things entertainment. Oh my goodness. So, first of all, Live Nation,
Yeah.
when you were talking about it, there's so much that Live Nation does. I'm not sure that our family members are aware how many concerts or festivals, events, even per year that Live Nation hosts or
Thousands.
facilitates. Yeah,
Thousands.
thousands.
Every major. So we can even go with the major tours that just came through here. Well, this is worldwide, but in national global tour, Beyonce, Live Nation produces that. Live Nation
Wow.
produces the Drake tour that just went out. There was a tour that went out for some of our Urban AC audience, Jodeci, Drew Hill, and SWV. Live Nation produces that. I'm telling you, it's probably 90% of any tours, festivals, shows in the world. Live Nation is probably the promoter behind that. And when we say promoter, they are the people that actually produce these shows, that book the artists, that, you know, make sure that you're going on Ticketmaster.com and unfortunately paying all them fees. But you know, I don't know if I can talk about that because I love my employer, but you know, they're the people that's behind a lot of different shows and festivals.
Well, Brandon, I want to say thank you for stopping by. But family, it's time for us to take just a short break. But know that the phone lines are still open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. We will catch back up with Brandon a short while later because Brandon has to run. We've got to let him go. So family, stay with us though, because we will be right back.
Thank you, Karen.
Coming up at Punchline Philly, Playing to Laugh with Torre, celebrating 30 years of laughter, Langston Kerman, Godfrey, Rodman, Afion Crockett, Ali Sadiq, and more. Plus, keep the party going all summer long at Punchline's Trap R&B Brunch. Get tickets and full event info at punchlinephilly.com.
Thousands of kids across Philadelphia are trapped in failing violent schools. Our kids deserve better. And it's time for lawmakers in our community to give our kids a fair shot. Right now, lawmakers are considering a program that would offer kids a free scholarship to go to a better school. Kids in Philly would be eligible for a scholarship up to $10,000. This would make sure every student in Philly has equal access to a good education. It's time for kids in our community to get the help they need. Tell our lawmakers to do the right thing. Visit PassLifeline.com today. Paid for by Commonwealth Action.
Tune in this Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. for the Islam Today show with a perspective on moral guidance and Islamic principles and values.
Lift up your voice, let it be heard. There is power in the word radio.
Reggie Bryant, a Central High School grad with a bachelor's in education and a master's in fine arts, both from Temple University, is also a broadcasting legend. In 1975, he became one of the founding members of the National Association of Black Journalists. He was a talk show host on WHAT 1340 AM, WRTI 90.1 FM, and he was the host of In the Pursuit of Truth on WURD Radio from 2006 to 2010. In addition to his work as a journalist, he served as an associate professor of art at the Philadelphia College of Art, public relations official for AFSCME District Council 33, and a film documentarian. No wonder he was a beloved member of the WURD family.
Welcome to the Truth Position System, TPS.
If there was one child, for example, in a burning building at the window, yelling for help, of course, there'd be any number of people who would find a way to get to that child. But I think that if every window in the building had a child in it with the smoke pouring out, that there'd be people who would be perplexed on what to do, and they would go someplace else to try to find help. If you love them, if you really love them, you do the things you have to do. We have this problem. And our children not only are at risk educationally, scholastically, ethically, and morally, they literally are at risk.
This transmission will be repeated for those who have lost their way.
It is an honor to salute WURD radio legend Reggie Bryant. This WURD 20th anniversary vignette was brought to you by Mainline Health, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, and United Healthcare.
Get it, slip it, cup it, check. Talk to doctor now and share.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit managerbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
This is your celebration.
Hello, my name is Dr. Ashley Jordan, and I'm the president and CEO for the African American Museum in Philadelphia. And it is my happy privilege to wish a happy 20th anniversary to WURD Radio.
Hi, my name is Jillianne Patricia Pertel. I'm the CEO of the National Marian Anderson Museum and Historical Society, and you are tuning into WURD, the best radio station in the nation, celebrating 20 years of excellence, not only in our community here in Philadelphia, but nationwide. If it is information you seek, if it is the best in cultural arts, tune in to WURD. Happy 20th anniversary.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So here we are, Wednesday, September 13th. We just spoke with Brandon Pankey, who is our entertainment guru, who will be visiting with us from time to time to keep us abreast of what's going on in the entertainment world. But we do have a guest coming up later in our 8 o'clock hour. But I thought we would talk about some things. There's so many things going on, so many things, as we well know. Things are always happening, but we haven't had an open forum in a few minutes. So I thought it would be a good night to do so. Before we do that, though, I do want to share that Ebby Cummings is joining us. Hey there, Ebby. Thank you for the love. Thank you for joining us. And Brother Nasir filled me in. Let me tell you something. I love bonefish. Brother Nasir says that he celebrated his birthday with dinner with the family at Bonefish Grill. One of my favorites. One of my favorites. I love it there. So moving right along. Let's talk about what's in the news. Let's talk about it. I like to know what you think and how you feel about what's happening. So for those who are unaware, Danilo Cavalcante was captured. For the story reads, the headline reads, the frantic manhunt for an escaped killer that sent hundreds of law enforcement agents swarming through terrified communities has come to an end after the fugitive was taken into custody 2 weeks later. So I'm curious to know what you think about the manhunt, how it was handled, how everything was reported to us. Curious to know what you think about it in its entirety, about how he escaped, about, just everything. I'm just curious to know your thoughts, what you feel about that particular situation. And moving along, another story I read was about the new COVID boosters that are coming. Y'all, they're saying the numbers are rising, hospitalizations are increasing, and this storyline reads, if it feels like everyone you know has COVID, you're not alone. Cases are on the rise, and so are hospitalizations and deaths. So the federal government's release of new updated COVID boosters feels like good timing. This is the article that was released on today. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about this new strand of COVID, about this new booster shot that is becoming available to us. Just what do you think and how you feel? How do you feel? Before I move further, because I want to talk about a few things tonight, we have a family member that is checking in on line one. Rick, hi there. Thank you for joining us tonight. How are you today?
Good evening, sister. Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
just called you tonight to make a correction.
Okay.
The song I mentioned on your show a few days back and suggested to Brother Ron, Wallflower by Peter Gabriel. I suggested to your audience that it was a tribute to Nelson Mandela. And that is not the absolute truth. It is a tribute to all prisoners, political and all prisoners who have been put to death between South America and South Africa. 1982 to 1984, I think the song was popularized on Peter Gabriel's albums and in film. But I just wanted to make that correction because a brother corrected me, so I stand corrected.
Well, I thank you for the correction. We actually did play it as we were closing the show that night. We played it, oh, excuse me, while closing. And I was hoping that you heard. But I do want to thank you for recommending it to us. Oh, I don't know. Something just caught me in the throat. I do want to thank you, however, for recommending it to us, um, because it was a song that we were able to close with that night. It took us out into the evening. I'm so sorry. Something is trying to grab my throat. Oh,
Can you still hear me?
yes, yes, I can.
I just want to say in closing that it was not only for your audience, but for Brother Ron. And I sang that song in 1988 to a dying AIDS patient. And I don't have the greatest voice.
Oh, that's love right there. That is love.
I thank you
That
for
is
the time, sister.
love. Rick, I thank you always, always. Family, if you have just joined us, excuse me, I don't know what is happening, what is trying to catch my throat, but if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. I can't thank you enough, Brother Rick, for always sharing with us. And we did play that song the night that you suggested it to us. And it was a beautiful song. It was a beautiful song. And that's nothing but love that you just expressed when you said that you shared it with someone, you sang it for someone. That's nothing but love. And that touches me. So thank you again. Thank you again. I do want to share that some of our family members are checking in. Melissa Gamble shares love with everyone. She's sending a good evening. My cousin June Nixon, is sharing love as well. And Tim is joining us. Hi there. Miss Julie is checking in as well. And she's sending a happy birthday greeting to Nasir. And she feels relieved that the escapee has been captured. Hopefully, we'll rest tonight with one less worry. I know that's right, Miss Julie. One less worry. You are absolutely right about that. I am curious to know, family, what you think and how you feel about the new COVID booster that is becoming available to us. How are you maneuvering and navigating knowing that this new variant is out as well? Are you doing anything differently? Are you going out less? Are you wearing your masks? I know we talked about it briefly a few weeks ago, but I'm curious to know, are you wearing masks? Um, just want to know. I just want to know, has it changed your life in any way? And if it has, in what way has it changed your life? The next story that I want to share with you, we were talking about AI last week. We were talking all about it, and it was interesting to me that this story reads the top tech leaders are to meet with U.S. senators on the future of AI regulation. So the story reads more than 20 tech industry leaders will meet on Wednesday, which is today, behind closed doors with U.S. senators as part of a closer look into how Congress can regulate artificial intelligence. We were talking about it the other day when we were talking with Wayne, if you will recall. And we were talking about how artificial intelligence is everywhere and how there's going to be an increased usage of it and how uncomfortable it makes some of us to know that, well, not all AI, but in some ways it can feel invasive. So we were talking about that. So I'm curious to know what you think and how you feel about it. Family, you can comment on our socials or you can give us a call. Don't forget that you can do that. And you can call us by dialing 215 634 8065, or you can even call us toll free at 1 866 361 0900. To that point, one of our family members is waiting to join us on our phone lines. Hello, and thank you for calling.
Hi, it's Renee. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Fred. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm just going to go out and overperform this time. I just want to say that God sets the lonely in families, blesses children who obey their parents. With children, God designed families to be a source of love, support, and strength for us. Unfortunately, not all families live up to this, and why families are so special. Family are central to God. It's God's plan for His children. They are building blocks of strong societies. Families are where we can feel love and learn how to love others. Life is tough, and we need people we can lean on. And white families is important to God. But God is trying to tell us something. The way
Yes,
the
he
world
is.
is today. And He's trying to come and say, He still got His hand stretched out saying, "Come, my children." And God is a merciful God and a loving God. And He's a loving Father. And God is love. And He got His hand out saying, "Come, my children." And we're the children of love. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Friendly Fred. Thank you always, always, always. I am in full agreement with what Friendly Fred just said. I do believe God is saying a lot. God is telling us a whole lot. Listen, we've got what in Portugal, the streets overflowing with wine. We had what was it? The dam that broke, the flooding that is taking place. All of the lives lost as a result of that. We've got and that's not to mention what we're dealing with right here in Philadelphia. Not to mention that, but it's we've got what COVID, a new variant of COVID. We've still not, we still didn't get far enough away from the last few variants. I don't even know how many variants there are now, but since COVID was introduced to us, we're not. I know we talk about it and we say, look, these things are in Revelations. I know we say that. We've talked about that as well. We've talked about that in short, but I'm just curious to know how you are navigating all of these, the news, quite honestly. How are you navigating the news of all of these things that are taking place in addition to what we're dealing with in our own space? How are you navigating it? So our family members are checking in, and Melissa Gamble is sharing that it's time to get and keep the hand sanitizer out and the mask on. Yeah, Melissa, Brother Malcolm is sharing that he has mask fatigue, but he will get the new booster. Okay. All right. Cheryl Brown, that is sharing that she wears her mask around large groups of people. Okay. And Ebby is sharing they have robots. Wow. In my city, New York, what happens if you bully? The robot will attack you. The malfunction is getting real. They have robots playing basketball with civilization getting too real. Are you kidding me? Robots are what? I don't even understand. Why do we need robots playing basketball? Why is that necessary? I don't understand. I don't. Before we go to the break, y'all, let me tell y'all something. The devil is really trying to get in my details tonight, okay? But when we go to this break, I'm going to work all of that out and make sure he is completely rebuked because he is not welcome here. You hear me? Not welcome here. But in any event, what I do want to do is take a moment to send a birthday wish to our family member, Shirley. She is celebrating tonight, and she sent a message letting me know that she will be unable to join us because she is celebrating, but she will be back soon. So Shirley Bryant, that is, happy birthday to you as well. I know that's right. Y'all better celebrate. You hear me? With all of this stuff that we're talking about, I take every opportunity that I can to enjoy the light in life. The light in life. So with that being said, we're going to take just a short break. But again, know that the phone lines are open, and also feel free to continue to comment on our socials because we will be right back.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Off's Excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Tune in this Friday at 9:20 a.m. for Tech Life Steph's digital tip of the week. Listen throughout the week for her digital updates. Brought to you by Comcast.
Are you ready to party? The party is about to be on. Join us Friday, November 10th for WURD Radio's 20th anniversary celebration, an evening of Black excellence and elegance at the beautiful Fiddler Club in downtown Philadelphia. A cocktail reception gets us started at 6 p.m. Grab a bite, share a toast, or hang out with your favorite WURD host. And in recognition of this milestone birthday, we're bringing together the owners of the nation's 3 remaining Black talk radio stations, Melody Span Cooper of WVON Chicago, Tavis Smiley of KBLA Los Angeles, and WURD's own CEO Sarah Lomax exploring the future of Black independent-owned media. We'll have a special live performance, and the house will be rocking with a legendary DJ spinning from way back till today. More details to come. To get your tickets, visit wordradio.com/20th anniversary. And remember, membership has its privileges. For WURD members can still continue to purchase tickets at a discounted rate. Your membership will be verified after purchase. Our 20th anniversary celebration is brought to you by Comcast, Bank of America, United Way, Keystone First, Wells Fargo, United Healthcare, and Mainline Health.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time.
Thousands of kids across Philadelphia are trapped in failing, violent schools. Our kids deserve better. And it's time for lawmakers in our community to give our kids a fair shot. Right now, lawmakers are considering a program that would offer kids a free scholarship to go to a better school. Kids in Philly would be eligible for a scholarship up to $10,000. This would make sure every student in Philly has equal access to a good education. It's time for kids in our community to get the help they need. Tell our lawmakers to do the right thing. Visit passlifeline.com today. Paid for by Commonwealth Action.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So I was sharing with you that I wanted to talk about what's going on in the world before we have our guests in the 8 o'clock hour. There's one more thing that I want to ask you about. There's a storyline that reads, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is to hear arguments over whether Philly can enact its own stricter gun laws. They need to save our children, families are saying. So I'm curious to know, family, from you, what your opinion is. And we kind of dance around this topic. We talk about it briefly, but it's such an emotional and sensitive topic. Talking about gun violence. And if you will recall, our family member Tyrone calls, and he's been calling lately talking about the life that was taken of the 12-year-old most recently as a result of violence. He was found in a dumpster, but he was also shot. It's a horrific story. And I'm curious to know from you, do you think it would help to suspend the right to carry firearms in public? Do you think that would help? And I'm asking that because of, that's newly enforced in New Mexico. So I'm curious to know what you think about stricter gun laws in Philadelphia and about in Pennsylvania, and what that would look like, what that would even look like, especially because, they're manufacturing. Some are manufacturing their own guns at home. So what would that even look like? reach out to me. Let me know. Call me. Call me and tell me what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can even call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. In the meantime, I do want to share some love to Shirley. Melissa Gamble is sharing a birthday wish with you. She's saying, Happy birthday, Shirley. So is Cheryl Brown. And she says, enjoy. My beloved Fred. Fred Sawyers is sharing that his birthday was yesterday. Now, Fred, I did not know that because I would have celebrated you on the air yesterday, but I'm going to do it today anyway, because you deserve to be celebrated. We all do. It's official, he shares. I am aging, pumpkin. Aren't we all? Let me tell you. But praise be to God, right? Praise be to God. Brother Nasir shares that he's going to the Eagles game tomorrow. I am so jealous. Okay, Brother Nasir, listen, I love it. You better live. He shares that he's going to the Eagles game tomorrow, but he will see me at the Jazz Festival on Saturday. Yes, I will be in Atlantic City, God willing, on Saturday with the Will Downing crew. We'll be at the Jazz Festival. Yes, yes. Chris Abbott is joining us, and he's sending love. He is sending love to everyone. And Nasir shares, we need stricter gun laws to save our babies. I'd like to know what that would look like. I really would. Like, what could we? I don't know, family. I'm asking you. I don't know. I want to take a moment to go to our phone lines. One of our family members is joining us on our phone lines. Christopher from Overbrook is on line one. Hello, and thank you for calling.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Good evening, family.
Chris. Hey, Chris. Thank you for calling.
Hey. Yes. I'm, part of the history of Philadelphia, and, my family has been in politics. One of the things I've learned about this country, that the gun laws are not going to change. With the NRA, there's a lot of money being pumped out of it into our government. Only thing I can say is we need education. We lack the education, and what we need to do is grow as a people, especially in our urban neighborhoods, because the guns are getting dumped here. And now with the technology of building guns, which these young people have access to, our leaders, and I'm not going to tell titles, but our leaders, our black leaders, are not stepping up to the plate and not actually addressing the issue when they have a platform to address the issue. So our black, we need education. We need to talk about it, but everybody's scared to talk about it, even from City Hall all the way down to the church. Nobody wants to talk about it. They want to talk about it when it comes on the news. Oh yeah, 12-year-old boy got shot in the head. Oh, what a shame. Let's keep the family in prayer. They don't need prayer right now. We need a solution. So,
well, let me ask you this. When you say education, I'm so sorry to have interjected. I'm sorry.
No.
When you say education, do you mean do we all need to be educated more on the laws? Do you mean our babies need to be educated better? What do you mean when you say education?
We need to be educated on the laws. You look at other countries. The young people in other countries are learning different things from math to science, everything. This in our country, our education system is like give them English, math, and reading, and that's it. Send them on their way. We are not discussing and educating our kids like, okay, what can we do better? We know that we have an epidemic, and actually, guns is an epidemic. Even the Center for Control Disease actually has a list of all the stuff that goes on in the United States, from diseases down to gun and youth killing. So we just need to educate. We just need to talk about it. And everybody is so scared to talk about it because they're scared of the NRA. The NRA has full control over. If we were to come into our communities, our leaders and stuff, and just, and I know I keep saying talk about it. That's what we need.
Well, that's where it starts, though, right? It starts there with the conversation. But well, I'm curious to know because we have some of our council members have begun the conversation about stricter gun laws and about what we can do in our city. And so I'm happy to know that some of our council members are they are starting the conversation and trying to make change. But what do you think we can do? As civilians, as
Well, go into your kids' rooms and check their rooms, because a lot of these kids will have guns hidden under their beds. An old friend of mine's neighbor, his mother went under his 15-year-old son's bed and found the gun, and she turned it into the police. Parents are, this is what I mean by education. Now we got to get to the parents. Nobody's holding the parents responsible. The parents do, remember, when we were little, you couldn't keep the room door closed.
you
You had
sure
to have the
couldn't.
room door open. You could not. You're not supposed to have privacy. You don't pay rent. But the parents today, and I'm not bashing parents, but parents need to step up to the plate and see what their kids are doing, see what their children are up to, because as soon as it goes down that their son shot somebody, now they're in jail. They're boohooing, crying in court. He didn't mean to do it. Oh, he's a good kid. I don't know how he got. Look, you didn't do your part by checking in on your child. You gave your child too much rights. This is why they follow the leader. We don't have leaders in our youth. They're a bunch of followers following what other youth do. So we need to have a discussion all the way from the council down to the church, down to the parent. If you get those in order, I guarantee you, things can change.
I appreciate that. I so appreciate that. So let me ask you this. We talk about, well, I'm sharing that our council members are starting the conversation, you know, and you say that parents, we need to go into our babies' rooms. We need to check and see what's going on with them in their rooms. Do you think as a community, because when we were younger, now Chris, I know you remember from our neighborhood, if you were by yourself, like I know if I was by myself, somebody would ask me, little Riddick, where you headed? Where you going?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
that was our village. Like, that our village took care of us. But now, do you think our babies are too far gone? Do you think we can get back to
They're
that?
not. They're not too far gone. I will never give up on a young man. But like I told you before, I'm going to be starting my man cave conversations out, and we talk about stuff like this. It's not too late. I've seen the chosen 300 turn young men around. I've seen opportunities around the city where young men, even young women, get turned around. All they did was start having a conversation with them. There's youth centers open. The one thing they did wrong was they closed down so many youth centers, like the YMCA. Now was all about health and stuff like that. They're not bringing in youth to do anything. You used to have community centers where kids can go in and play basketball and join basketball leagues. A lot of stuff is disappearing because the government. We and this I know is a different subject, but we're so far in debt. They have to pull back on the black community, pull all the stuff that we're accustomed to getting better, and they want to throw it into their wars. So
they don't give us
we
that
have
much.
to get back to being accountability between each other. If I see the young man down the street acting stupid, I'm going to say something to him. In my neighborhood, which is really quiet and really nice up here off of City Line Avenue, I see the kids. We look out for each other. I say, "Why are you out in the street this time of night? Why are you out here at 12 o'clock at night on a school night?"
Exactly.
If you see these kids downtown what are these 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds downtown walking around in the middle of the night? Remember, not too long ago, the 10-year-old and the 12-year-old beat that old man up and killed him up in North Philly?
I do.
What are they doing out in the street? So
I do. Well, how about to the point of the 12? Well, and Brother Tyrone shared this the other day, and I had read this myself. The baby, the baby whose life was just taken, the 12-year-old. How is it that no one was looking for him? How is it that no one reported him missing? How does that happen?
You know what?
So we talk about accountability. You talk about accountability. That hurt me. I mean, I really understood his pain when he was talking about that, because that hurt me. It really did. But Chris, to that point of what we need to do right now, we have to take a break. So family, know that the phone lines are open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. We are coming right back with more Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. So stay with us.
Rodney Muhammad inviting you to a new society, the National Agenda for Educational Change in Our Community. This Sunday, the 17th at 11 a.m. at Mosque Number 12's new location. We're at 5727 Germantown Avenue. Join us this Sunday for this important meeting at 11 a.m. For information, call us at 215-908-5202.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Evening Words.
Okay, first of all, let's just look at some facts. You're talking about the schools. Most of those crimes and those bad those education, those institutions are run by blacks. The primary schools all over this country over the last 40 years have been run by black superintendents, black judges, black prosecutors, all these other things. But I can tell you, at the turn of the century, there were 5 black high schools in New York, and in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta, and New Orleans. They had used textbooks, half the budgets of white schools. Every one of those black high schools out-tested every white school in those cities in 1919.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Evening Words on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Want to get out of just about anything and look like an earth-saving hero? Just use the environment excuse. High school reunion? Sorry, can't. Planetary obligations. Unfortunate bridesmaid's dress. Unfortunately, you promised the climate you'd buy more vintage. Chauffeuring teens? The earth really needs them to hoof it. The environment is always the best excuse. Find your out and opt in to cutting carbon. Just visit theenvironmentexcuse.org. Brought to you by WildAid.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life, and it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online at WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. That success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So, in our first hour, we had a visit with Brandon Pankey, and then we were talking about what's going on in the world. Just before the break, our friend and family member Christopher was talking with us about some ideas that he had, some things that he felt that would be helpful. You know, I'm always curious to know what you think and how you feel as well. But before we move further, because I did tell you we have some exciting guests in our 8 o'clock hour that I want you to meet. I want to make sure that I acknowledge some of our family members that have checked in the interim. So Jay has checked in. Hey there, Jay. I love you more. I hope you know that. And Malcolm was contributing to the conversation that Christopher started. He shares, I remember when I was young, there were summer youth employment programs, day camps, and recreation centers. I know we had all of that. All of that. And I'm curious to know because I want to believe that we still do have those things. I'm just curious to know. I don't know. Antoinette, who is joining us, hey there, beautiful. She shares a lot of these children are raising themselves. A lot of them are seeking attention that they're not getting at home. So we must pay close attention to our children and take a very hard look within ourselves. Our children need boundaries, and and we need to stop being their friends and start being their parents. That's a good point too. That's a very, very, very good point. Yeah, I just had that conversation quite honestly in the more recent past. Um, I don't know. I don't know, family. I'm prayerful. I will say that, but I do want the conversation to continue because I think it's necessary. It's so important that we continue that conversation. So, what I'd like to do right now, because we're in the 8 o'clock hour, and I really, really want you to meet our family members that are joining us, is introduce you to them, our family members that I want you to get to know. They've been family to me for so long, so many years. I love them both. And these two love bugs, well, you know what? I don't want to talk. I want you to talk to them because the hour goes by so quickly. What I will do is tell you just a little about them. Monique and Rodney Westcott are a part of the COVID V Conquerors, an organization comprised of individuals who are survivors of the COVID-19 virus. The mission of COVID V Conquerors is to create a safe space to support and provide help for people who have survived COVID-19. Family, I thought it was so necessary for us to have them come on to talk about their journey, especially since we've begun this conversation of these new variants and the new booster and all of that good stuff. I thought it was a necessary conversation. So, without further ado, I invite you to the conversation with both Monique and Rodney Westcott. Hi there, family.
How are you?
Mwah. I will not complain. Let me take this sweater on. Now I'm getting hot. I will not complain. It feels so good to see y'all. Y'all look good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
So
you,
do
thank
you.
So I'm first of all, just thank you. Thank you for taking some time out to just come and share with us and talk with us. You know, listen, I know this has been a whirlwind, if nothing less. For lack of another way of saying it, it's been a whirlwind of an experience. And I thought it was just necessary for our family members to hear from your point of view, from the both of you, what life has been and what it is. So I want to start though with telling our family members just about the two of you to get how long have you been married?
Ooh,
I'll
20.
let her handle that. I don't want trouble.
So this year, we are thankful to God that we celebrated 25 years.
Yes.
25 years in May. So it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing.
Well, happy anniversary and many, many, many more. Many, many, many more. I know we're in September, but it's never too late. So happy, and many more. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, the hour goes by so quickly, and I want to make sure I let you, family, know that I'm not in any way discounting anything, but I want to ask them some questions so that, the family gets the full idea um, of life. Like I said, what life is and what it has been and what it's going to be. Okay. Is there, but I also want them to know that that you are you are advocates and supporters of those who have like experiences, such as yourselves. So, okay, I want to start. Let's start from the beginning, from day one. Can you talk with us about that?
I'll let
I,
him start.
I can. It started off with a party that my daughter gave me, my birthday, November the 10th. It was COVID season 2020. And I was a very careful guy with COVID, but I had about a 20-second lapse. I picked up a mask, and when I put it on, I said to myself, it feels a little different. But I said, these were my exact words. What's the chances?
Mm.
2 days later, my daughter called me and said she had COVID.
Mm.
2 days later, I was sick. I was feeling, but I wasn't worried at all. I
Okay.
just thought it was going to pass by. I was just in the bed, laying in the bed, and I started getting fevers. And I said one night, I says, you know what, I'm going to take a shower to, try to break the fever. That was the last thing I remember. Fell out. My wife can tell you a little bit more about the fallout. I ain't know anything about that.
So it was Saturday morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I stretched my hand to see if his fever had broke, to feel his forehead, and he wasn't there. So of course I jumped up, looking around, couldn't find him. He was on the floor, gasping for air. I'll never forget that, gasping. He couldn't hear me. I'm yelling, stay with me. I pick up my phone. I dial 911. I said, hurry, hurry, please. I don't know why he's not responding. His eyes were open, but he wasn't responding to me, any of my voice commands. So I ran downstairs to unlock the door so that they could just come in. And I started to, try to get him together because I wanted to make sure that he was dressed going out of the house. The paramedics came. They were here pretty quickly. And at first, their first thought was that he had had a stroke. They said, "Why is he not responding?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "But we think we have COVID. This is the time when testing, you had to schedule a date on the computer to
Oh
get a
yeah.
test." So it was back then. And that day was our testing date. And so I said, "We believe it's COVID. We've never felt like this before. He had a fever, and now he woke up. I woke up to him like this." So they said they were going to take him to Fitzgerald Mercy. And I said, "Please don't take him to Fitzgerald Mercy. Please don't." And they said, "We have to take him to the closest hospital."
Okay.
We get out of our block to the stop sign, and he stopped and he said, "They're overcrowded. I'm taking you to Penn," taking him to Penn. So
Okay.
he said, "Lights and sirens, you will not be able to keep up with me." I said, "I bet you I will." And
Mm-hmm.
just, kept on their heels as fast as they were going, as many lights as they were going. I was right behind them until we got to Penn.
And the next thing was I woke up and they kind of explained to me what was going on, that I had COVID. I was in the hospital. And I thought from that time, I never felt bad.
Okay.
Never felt. And that's one thing I want to get across to people. When you're dying of COVID, you don't feel anything. Like I was just in a trance, just going to sleep. That's why a lot of people die in like their chair and stuff like that. Because as your oxygen is going down, you don't feel anything. You're not even coherent. So you're just
Oh.
drifting off. So they gave me air. I woke up, and that's when it started. For 10 days, I was just fighting. They were telling me, I can tell by the way they were responding to me, that they thought I wasn't going to make it. So it got to the 10th day, which I thought was the best day that I had.
Okay.
They came, I had a little dip, and they said, we got to put you on the ventilator. Now, I've been denying it for 10 days, trying to fight it. And they said, we got to put you on the ventilator. They said, you got about 15 minutes. And I had to say goodbye to my wife, which I thought for the last time, on FaceTime.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, and I was saying bye, because I thought it was it. So I went to sleep, and my wife can pick it up from there because I was in there for how many
About
days?
40 days. He was on a ventilator. The decision to be on a ventilator, especially at this time, was that we were very scared because people were not coming off of the ventilator.
It was a 13% chance.
13% chance. So we
13?
13% chance.
And
survival.
we're trying to keep him off the ventilator. But the doctor explained to me this particular morning that they felt as though he had reached his threshold of tolerance, and they thought that he was just going to give out, and they wanted to be able to save him and take him out of the equation is the term that they used. They wanted to just take him out of the equation. So I was scared. I can remember this day. It was December 1st, 2020, and I was shaking like a leaf, and all you could do is pray. Like there's nothing you can do but just fall on your knees and submit. And I remember the fear on his face of going on the ventilator and just that unknowing, just not knowing what was going to happen. And now, like for these 10 days, we were able to at least FaceTime him and see him and talk to him. And, how are you feeling today? And all of that.
Right.
Now that meant that we were not going to be able to talk to him. We were just we would FaceTime what they had blue jeans at the hospital. So we would see him. We would ask the nurses to bring the iPad into his room so that we could see him and talk to him. And this happened, for about 40 days.
40 days. Now what exactly is blue jeans?
Blue jeans is like Zoom and like what we're on now.
Like
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
FaceTime. It's more people can be on it.
Okay.
And they would just roll the iPad in and sit it right in front of his bed, and we would talk and pray and sing. And my sister was really, she was our prayer warrior, and she was praying with us from 6 a.m. We did noontime, we did evening, because that's all we knew to do. And so she was leading that charge. We had set our alarms, and that's what we were doing. That's the only thing we knew to do.
Did anyone else in the house have COVID at the same time? Did you all have?
I had,
Yeah, we were the only two in the house.
In the house, yeah, we're the only two in the house, and everybody's grown and out.
I listen because I still have your kids as babies. You know that, right? I have your daughter. Like she's a baby.
They're grown and gone.
So January the 13th, I woke up, and I was totally confused because I thought I was asleep overnight. I was like, wow, I'm up. I didn't ever expect to ever wake up. And I started looking around, and people were just walking by me. And I tried to call out to somebody. I figured I couldn't talk because I had a hole in my throat. So in my neck, the trach. So I couldn't talk, and I tried to make movements, and I couldn't move. And I was like, what happened? That was my first reaction, was like, what happened? I'm thinking I must have got out. My wife must have been in an accident or, something. I'm like, I couldn't connect paralysis with COVID.
Right.
I couldn't connect that. And I was laying there for about 3 hours, longest 3 hours of my life. Nobody would give me attention or anything like that because they were waiting for me to wake up.
Right.
And I started crying, tears going out. And one of the nurses saw it from a distance. And then she came over and tried to soothe me because I was just confused. And that's when I say my journey started. My journey, finding out who I was, what I was all about, what I was made of. That was my true test. And it started January 13th.
This sounds like an incredible, unbelievable journey for each of you individually. I can't imagine how all of you were processing what was going on. I mean, you say, your thought was that you're saying goodbye to your family via FaceTime, and in your spirit, this is goodbye for the last time. And then you wake up and you're completely confused. You know,
I tell people it's like, you know how you say you'll meet somebody or greet somebody and they'll say, well, I'm just glad to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that day I was truly glad to wake up. I was brought to tears because I was so surprised, for one, that I was up, and I'm trying to figure out, well, where am I?
Jesus.
And it was an experience. It was an experience.
I'm y'all know how emotional I am, and I am still so stuck on the thought of saying goodbye. I mean, and family, I know there are so many of us who lost family members to COVID, and we lost so many friends and people overall. We lost so many during that time. I can't imagine this. Your thought process. You're thinking, okay, I know I don't. Like you're thinking, and they're not even there for you to hug and hold, and you're thinking, I'm saying goodbye through a device, basically.
On FaceTime. I actually had to,
the worst.
I at one point, the 8th day, I was at the realization that I was going to die. So I got all my children individually on the phone. And that's a hard experience, just hard to say. And you had to get to the realization what was about to happen. So you try to make it the best. You try to draw the best out of this situation. And I told, I was saying my goodbyes to my daughters and all. And they were saying, don't give up, don't give up. But I thought it was necessary to say. I didn't want them to have a negative experience. I mean, look at like I'm worrying, which I was. But I didn't want them to think that.
You're still being dad. You're still
Right.
being
I'm
dad and trying to
I'm
protect them.
as we say, hold it down.
Right. That's what we
in my last moments. But on the flip side, I'm seeing every day 5, 6 people die around me. And they're telling me I'm worse than everybody in the unit. They said that my situation was the worst they've seen. So I figured, I'm not dumb. I figured that was it.
Right.
So
Okay, I'm going to take a breath. And family, if you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with the Westcotts. Oh, Rodney and Monique Westcott, and they're sharing their journey. They're sharing their continued journey um, of navigating COVID-19 and the support and advocacy that they've taken on in the midst of the madness. I will say, what we're going to do though is take just a short break, family. But know that the phone lines are open, and know that your comments are still welcome because you're invited to this conversation. If you didn't know, you too are invited to this conversation. Malcolm is sharing that he lost one of his uncles. He died of COVID. He was on a ventilator back in 22. He was 88, but he had a lot of pre-existing conditions. And he shared that they had to look at him through a glass at Einstein. And Sharon is sharing, amen Just amen. Amen. I know that's enough said, right? Amen. 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 On that note, family, like I said, we're going to take just a short break, but we will be right back. So stay with us.
Words of empowerment.
The one and only Saj Purple Blackwell, aka Purple Queen. My advice for all people, especially young people, is agape, love, to love humankind, to love God, to love through God. And if you love, that love will spread. And then people will start reciprocating that love, and then they'll start giving love. And that wave of love will transform the world. Agape.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These Words of Joy and Empowerment are brought to you by Keystone First and United Healthcare.
What is lost when a home is denied, when equality is cast aside, when it discriminates against you because you're LGBTQ or because of your race or the obstacles you face, deny you a lender because of your gender? Housing discrimination has no place in our nation.
Don't let housing discrimination stop you. If you believe you've been denied a home because of your race, color, religion, national origin, familial status, disability, or sex, including gender identity and sexual orientation, go to HUD.gov/fair housing. Everyone has a right to fair housing.
What are you waiting for? If you've been enjoying the information and interviews WURD provides every day, or come out to our community events, it might be time to become a member. This year marks the 20th anniversary of WURD, and there's no better time to join the forward movement. Sign up or renew your sustaining membership at just $90, or your digital membership for just $5 a month. Join online at wordradio.com/membership, or pick up the phone and give us a call at 215-425-7875. Press 4 for assistance. The time to join is now.
What am I waiting for?
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with the Westcotts, and we're talking about their journey, their continued journey, if you will, with COVID-19. We've been talking lately, about the virus itself, about these different variants, about the boosters, about all of that. And I thought it was such a necessary conversation to have them come on and talk with us about their support and their advocacy, as well as their journey. And I get so caught because the time goes by so quickly, and there's so much I want to know about what life is like and what it was like for you guys. I'm really so stuck on you saying, in your spirit, you were saying goodbye, and I mean, that's just really taking you through something emotionally right now. But I'm curious to know, and I know, Rodney, you said you were trying to hold it down. You were trying to be dad and be husband, and here you are with the uncertainty. I mean, family, don't get me wrong, because I know we don't know. We don't know if we'll ever see tomorrow. We don't know if we'll ever see the next moment. But when you're faced with someone saying to you, yeah, well, you're worse than everybody else in here, and we don't anticipate, when someone is speaking to you and then we're pouring that into your spirit, it's a little difficult to think positively, or so I want to know more about COVID V Conquerors. I want to know everything about your journey, but I definitely want our family members to know about COVID V Conquerors before I ask you too much, and then I say, "Oh, we have to go." So,
Well, COVID V Conquerors started when I was in there. In the beginning, I was having a really rough time adjusting to what I call my new norm. I mean, I couldn't walk, couldn't talk. Those were real issues because my mind is always taking me back to what I was.
right.
And just one day, I just, I started thinking and was just trying to think to make something positive out of this whole experience. Like, what can I draw out of this that's positive? And thinking like that kind of helped me get out the dumps and getting ready for this fight to move forward. And I got to a point where people were noticing me. And at this point, I was in the rehab. And I would go in the gym and I'm working out like, I was an athlete. So I'm competing every day. And one of the therapists said, listen, you're doing a lot for a lot of people here. Because they saw how bad I was when I came in, and they see little things getting better from day to day. And they asked me to talk to someone that had COVID. He was doing really bad. And I talked to him because I talked to him from a place where I knew exactly where you were. You know what I mean? And I know how easy it is to give up. Trust me, I understand the whole premise of giving up, because it's really, really tough. But sometimes you just don't know there's any other options.
Right.
And I told him about my 1% plan. Listen, I'm just going to try to get better 1% every day. Just something I need to see to get better. And he did the same things. And I was in a position where everybody that came in that had COVID, they would have me talk to. Because people were coming in with all kinds of stuff, related to COVID. So, and every day I was talking to my family.
Okay.
We had prayer meetings and stuff twice a day, 3 times a day when I was in the coma. And we were just talking. And I said, well, I want to continue to help people, because I think it's definitely needed. So that's when we birthed COVID V Conquerors. I was on my back. I couldn't even move. Talking through the FaceTime, but that's where we started.
What?
That's
So
when
let me
I
ask.
felt that we needed to make some kind of difference in other people's lives. And in the interim, just help myself. That actually helped me by helping other people.
God is so good. Lord, I do want to share with you some of the comments that our family members are sharing. Melissa Gamble is sharing that God is so amazing. Yeah, isn't he? 40 days, she writes. God said, I have something for you to do. You got to go through it, though. So many don't make it. I had to fight to get to visit my aunt. And then when I got to the hospital, I had to suit up just to talk through a glass, and she never woke up. God is awesome. You are so blessed to be here. With such a powerful testimony. She shares that she's so afraid that she keeps her mask on and she has sanitized until her skin starts to peel. Um, uh, Ms. Julie is sharing what a beautiful couple, encompassed with love and spiritual light. Don't cheat yourself. Be sure to have pictures of you both, even renewing your vows so that you reinstate yourselves one unto the other.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, first of all, I've known them for what seems like forever, and I mean, it's unwavering. The love is unwavering. It is. The love that they share is unwavering, and it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to feel. So I will share that with our family members. They are who they were, who they have been. This is Monique and Rodney since the beginning.
Well,
But so,
I would say that you have to have a special wife in this situation because, I was in the hospital for close to 6 months, and I came back a totally different man. Totally different. Couldn't, I couldn't do anything for myself. Couldn't walk. I couldn't go upstairs. Couldn't feed myself. Couldn't barely go to the bathroom. And you need a special woman to stand by you through those times. A lot of women will just walk away from her. That's a lot of pressure, and fortunately, I had that woman, there, and everything she might be saying it behind my back. It's never been a problem. She hasn't expressed it to me. But I do know that's hard because I was a certain type of man when I went in the hospital, and I'm totally different now.
So it's a new normal, right? And these past 3 years have changed us forever. So when we talked about COVID V Conquerors, when he was in the hospital, and we were talking every day via FaceTime. We talked all during the day. We were home because, they had shut down again, shut the world back down again. So we didn't really have a lot to do. And so talking to Rodney was like a high point. And, and then he had more ideas about who inspired him or who he helped inspire at the rehab. And because we weren't able to go at this point, we were only able to go on certain days, and you couldn't stay long. It was just, I can just remember those days. But, so what we did was we started writing it down and planning out what COVID V Conquerors would be about. It was his brainchild, but we just birthed it. He said, what I want to do. He thought about walking up the rocky steps. Now he was with a walker and was trying to get through with any steps, a regular floor, uneven floor. And he was talking about 72 steps. I was like, you sure you think you can do that? And he said, well, I want to try it. And I think I shared some pictures of, we had so many people, November 28th of 2021. And we did it again in 2022. We didn't have as many people. People, start thinking, oh, COVID's here to stay. It's like the flu, it's like a cold. We didn't get the support, but we did get the support that we needed. Now it's coming back, and it's coming back, and it's a little different. And I'll let Rodney share how he plans to attack COVID this time.
Well, like I said, I'm always trying to get something positive out of every situation that I'm in. Whether I feel as though you learn more through your tragedies than your triumphs. So I wanted to, because I looked at myself and see, okay, I could have been in better shape. I could have, ate better or whatever the situation. So I'm gonna concentrate on things like that now. I work out more than I've ever worked out now. My numbers were always iffy. My medical numbers, blood pressure, blood sugar, stuff like that. Now they're intact. So I look at this as a wake up call for me. God gave me a wake up call. Listen, I'm going to keep you there, but you got to get your act together.
Well, you know what, Ronnie, if you could share with our family members, because those who are unaware, when you say you came back a changed man, so did you have any pre-existing conditions? Were you athletic? Were you like what? If you could give an idea to our family
I
members.
had was my blood pressure a little? It was a little elevated.
His blood pressure was a little elevated. Type 2.
I'm type 2 diabetic.
Okay.
And anything else, I was never sick or anything like that.
Right.
Like I said, the biggest surprise is that I got sick. I was shocked that I got sick.
And you said you didn't feel anything. You weren't.
No, I didn't feel anything.
Wow.
But like I said, I want to take ownership of what happened to me. And whatever I was doing, it wasn't right. Because that actually helped the situation. Not saying that that's the reason, but it definitely helped. So I want to be ready the next time it comes. And I want to, because of when I came home, it was such attention with me coming home. I've been on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just sharing my story to inspire others. So my platform have changed a little bit. So many people reach out to me with not just COVID problems.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, they just had a stroke. It could
Mm-hmm.
be aneurysms, whatever. They feel inspired by me, how I'm approaching this every day. So I let people know, listen, this is what I do every day. These are the issues that I have. And people relate to me. I get, calls from all over the world.
How can we not? How can we not relate,
And they
Rodney?
relate to it. So that's
Yes.
I had to this season right here I called the turnaround.
The
Because I'm in
turnaround.
the process of turning my life around, for the better. I'm gonna make this situation, I'm gonna be 10 times better than I was before.
And here you are, you're in the midst of what you've just shared with us is the turnaround. And you're using this time to inspire other people and to help other people and to support other people. That's a beautiful thing. That's love right there. That is love right there. That is nothing but God. I do want to share some of our family members are checking in. Miss Joanne Dorman is checking in. Hi there, beautiful. She's sharing good evening and sending love. And she shares the creator is 24/7. I know that's right. I know that's right. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Jeff Hart is checking in, and he is writing, "Thank you, Rodney and Monique, for sharing. God bless you." K-Ward Radio is sending a happy Wednesday to everybody, and Soul First Apparel is saying, "And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Second Corinthians, chapter 12, verses 9 and 10. I can't thank you enough for that, Soul First Apparel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, the word is always welcome here. Do you hear me? The word is always welcome here. Family, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with the Westcotts, Monique and Rodney Westcott, and they're sharing their incredible journey, an ongoing journey, but they're sharing with us from its inception, from its onset to today. And they're sharing how, in the midst of madness, they started COVID V Conquerors. Okay. They started an organization, family, that supports and advocates and provides help for those who have survived COVID-19. It's a safe space for those because and I can know I overstand it. You can't really relate and identify unless you've been in your shoes. So I want to say thank you for that, especially like I said, family. I know we have friends, family members, loved ones, those with whom we are familiar that we've lost, that were lost in the height of the pandemic. But COVID is still here. Now we have new variants. Now we have boosters. Now we have so much going on. So much going on. We're going to take a break in a moment, and when we come back, I want to know what you have to share as far as recommendations for us with with the new booster and what you would suggest to us when we come back from commercial break. Before we go to commercial break, though, I do want to share that our family member Antoinette Cook, hey beautiful, she's sharing, you have a purpose. This was no accident. This is your calling. God bless you. I wanted to share that with you. I thought it was so necessary to read that in that moment. But family, like I said, we're going to take just a short break, but feel free to join the conversation. And you can do so by commenting on our socials, or you can give us a call because our phone lines are open. Whatever you do, though, stay with us because we'll be right back.
Thousands of kids across Philadelphia are trapped in failing, violent schools. Our kids deserve better, and it's time for lawmakers in our community to give our kids a fair shot. Right now, lawmakers are considering a program that would offer kids a free scholarship to go to a better school. Kids in Philly would be eligible for a scholarship up to $10,000. This would make sure every student in Philly has equal access to a good education. It's time for kids in our community to get the help they need. Tell our lawmakers to do the right thing. Visit passlifeline.com today. Paid for by Commonwealth Action.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. WURD's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out the recent openings posted on the Livelihood Job Board at wordworks.com. The Wagner Institute of Science is hiring a science outreach educator. The Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia is hiring both a director of finance and operations and an executive director. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative, brought to you by WURD Radio, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Operation Hug the Block. 77 nights on the most violence-impacted blocks in Philadelphia. A nightly series of Peace Patrol vigils is happening right now from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. on blocks with 10 or more shootings since 2015. The operation will run until November 7th, Election Day. Hug the Block is spearheaded by Jamal Johnson of Stop Killing Us and Philly Troops. To see if you live on or near one of Philly's most violence-impacted blocks, go to phillytroops.com and click on Operation Hug the Block.
Words of empowerment.
The one and only Saj Purple Blackwell, aka Purple Queen. My advice for all people, especially young people, is agape. Love. To love humankind, to love God, to love through God. And if you love, that love will spread. And then people will start reciprocating that love. And then they'll start giving love. And that wave of love will transform the world. Agape.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These words of joy and empowerment are brought to you by Keystone First and United Healthcare.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. We're talking with the Westcotts, Rodney and Monique Westcott, and they're sharing with us their journey with COVID-19, their ongoing journey because, and I say that because they started COVID V Conquerors, which is an organization comprised of individuals who are survivors of the COVID-19 virus. And before the break, I'd asked what suggestions they have for us as it pertains to the booster, about the virus itself, about, protective measures. What would you share with us?
Well, what I usually say is, of course, I'm not a doctor, and people have their own opinions, but I've been through it, and people that have been through what I've been through, it's an easy decision because, I couldn't. I wish I could have had the vaccines, any kind of vaccines or boosters or anything like that. But I couldn't. I just couldn't. I didn't have that option.
They weren't out at the time.
Right. So,
Wow.
with me not being a doctor, I don't want to say take this or take that because that's what I would suggest is go to your physician that you trust and ask them exactly what to do. My physician tells me to take the vaccine and boosters, and that's exactly what I do.
Okay. So tell us, I'm looking at the time and we have just a few moments left. What so does COVID V Conquerors host events or how do we find out more information about COVID V Conquerors?
Well, we have our website, of course, COVID V
Okay.
CONQUERORS.com. We had the 2 events. Now, this is our 3rd year. And we had the events with me going up the steps. And the 2nd year, we went up the steps also because I'm still not fully walking and doing things that I used to do. So that's a constant effort. And this year, we're our season, like I said, our season of the turnaround. What I'm trying to do is inspire others to let them know that any kind of adversity or anything they can overcome. So what I'm planning on doing is running the Broad Street Run this May. I am going to run the 10 miles, and now you're talking about a individual that was on January 13th, 2020. He was paralyzed and going to running the Broad Street Marathon, something I've never done before.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
It just
Listen,
to prove to people if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. You put your
I
mind
don't
focus and put your mind to it.
I don't doubt that you will. You hear me? I know you will be there. I know you will.
He wants you to be there. He wants everybody to be there.
I want
Wait till the
everybody to be at the end, at least the end,
Cheering.
to cheer me on because trust me, I'm going to need it.
Oh my, well, you got me. You got me. You got me. You have got me. And if I had known, because listen, y'all, I would have been there when you came home from the hospital. They did put it on the news though, but I would have been there in person
I know.
if I had known that day. Family, let me share with you because well, actually you could share. It was on the news and everything. It was so wonderful. The day that you came home from the hospital and the entire neighborhood, in addition to family members and all were there greeting you and welcoming you home. What did that feel like? What was that like?
Wow, it was a humbling experience because I didn't expect it at all.
He was surprised. We surprised him with the parade. The parade.
But now, be honest with you, I was I tell my wife and my kids before they told me that I was going to have to that the Fox was going to be there in the morning, and I was petrified because I'm scared to speak in public. I was scared to speak in public before that time. So that's all I was thinking about. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say?
What?
And I mean, but it worked out. It worked out.
Okay.
He
Here
has
you are.
talking sense.
And to be honest with you, that was the start of me social media and stuff because I was never on social media. I never spoke publicly. But this
Oh my goodness.
also like I preach to kids now because now I'm a public speaker. And I tell kids, listen, when you go through adversities, it gives you an opportunity to be great at something totally different than you once knew. Just like me, I was scared to speak because of this, what happened to me. Now I'm speaking to thousands about this situation to help them out and doing other things, so it's not always a bad thing to go through a little, some trials and tribulation. It sometimes wakes you up. It just depends on how you want to look at it. How you want.
Well, one of our family members, Mardia Reed, is checking in. Hey, beautiful. And she shares, you better run. You better run on. Running that run will be heartfelt. And she also shares, you are stepping into your calling. I love
That's
that.
exactly what I tell him every day. That you were made for this. That nobody else could do what you're doing now. So walk into it. Nobody else gone through what he went through and still come out strong. I'm just grateful to have a front row seat. So, and that's what I say. My job is to have the front row seat, be his cheerleader, his taskmaster, but get it done. Make sure it looks right.
Wow. And how have the kids been through this?
Whew. So that's a whole nother hour.
Well, now one of my kids was the one. This was a huge part of me turning it around because my oldest daughter is the one that gave it to me. So of course, she was thinking that, of course, I'm the reason that my father's dying. So
no. Poor baby.
yeah, and and I just, I asked God, please don't do this to her.
Right.
And but it actually, again, this experience actually drew us closer. It made us realize things that we would never think of and we take for granted every day. And like I said, I'll be honest with you, this has been on a lot of levels a beautiful experience for me. A beautiful experience. It was like, now you mentioned the car cavalcade, whatever, that
the parade.
It was like I went to my funeral, but I left with everybody else. And we talked about my own funeral because I read a lot of the things that people were saying to me when I was in a coma, because it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that that was the end.
Everybody had just
People were
accepted
giving
it.
me their heartfelt things that they would only say if I was to die. And but I came home with everybody. I
To
got
a
up,
huge welcome.
and I looked at it as a blessing because very few people go through this experience. And I was lucky to go through that experience.
Millions didn't make it, but I was one of the ones who did. Oh, Lord Jesus. I just want to say thank you to the two of you for joining us. And Rodney and Monique, please keep us posted because we want to know all about the race. And I'm coming. So I want to be at the end of the finish line. I want to be there cheering too, next to Mo.
Can I
Okay.
add one more thing?
Absolutely. Please.
I invite everybody to follow my journey with me. I do post every day on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. COVID V Conquerors at COVID V Conquerors.
Or Rodney Westcott.
Or Rodney Westcott on Facebook. But I show everything, the good and the bad of how, what our life is about on a daily basis. The struggles we go through, the blessings we go through. And I feel as though it's important for people to see that, exactly that. And you can overcome. You can definitely overcome. But it starts here. It starts there. And I was blessed to be thrown into a situation like that. And I was blessed to have the mindset to make it into a positive.
You're absolutely right. That's a huge blessing. That is a huge blessing. Oh, again, y'all have me so full here. Like, wow. Now I feel inspired though, but thank you for that. Y'all, just thank you again. Thank you. Again, I do want to share that Miss Lily is sharing some love. She's sending a good evening and some love. And Mardia, she shares, I just followed you guys. So you've got some family members following you. Thank you. And I sure do hope that you'll come back and visit us again sometime soon. Will you come back soon? Thank you, guys. Thank you. So we will see you then.
We love you.
I love you more. Family. Oh my goodness. So here we are. At the close of yet another night. Just family, praise God. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. As we wrap tonight's episode, I just want to extend my utmost as you continue to support love and life. Just thank you to all of our callers. Thank you to those who contributed via our socials as well. Happy birthday to all of our family members that are continuing to celebrate. Brother Nasir, Brother Fred, Shirley, Brandon. Just thank you. Thank God, but thank you as well to the entire WURD family, especially Niall Jackson, Nick Steptoe, for all that you do. Thank you. Family, remember, we are all in this together. You hear me? So you be good to you. but you be good to those around you always. Have a great rest of your night, family, and you be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Love and Life, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, family. I love you. God loves you so much more.